Hey there! I recently hosted my annual all-day live stream event on my other YouTube channel called the Life Editor Weekend Virtual Retreat. In one of the learning sessions, I shared my must-read books for women business owners, and the information was just too good not to share here on Sage's pages. Keep watching to learn the books that changed my life and transformed my business forever. If you like this retreat video, then please click the link in the description to come to my next in-person retreat in Orlando, Florida. Tickets are now on sale through July 17th, 2023. All right, let's go. Colleen, I want to know all of the books. I want to know all the books too. So today we are talking about books. Yes, we are talking about lots of books. As you can see, I have a thing for books here. I am a former book editor. That was my career for 10 years before I became a life and business coach. So I'm a big fan of books, and hence my whole coaching framework, the life editing process, relies on book editing as a foundational element of my coaching framework. So we're going to talk about books during today's session. And right now, I've got 12 must-read books for women business owners. And we're going to try to get through as many as I can. And I'm going to explain why I think I've got them stacked up here. You can't see it, but I want to explain why these books have made a difference in my career and in my business, and why I think they're so helpful. So don't worry, I'm going to come back to this video after we've streamed for today, and I'm going to put in the links for all of the books so you can easily access them. So if you're watching the replay, they should be there. They should be there in the descriptions. We're talking about building your foundation by learning from others, and a great way to do that is by reading. I'm a huge proponent of reading and getting more information from books. They could be digital books, they could be audiobooks, whatever. I have some printed books here, and these are must-read books for women entrepreneurs. And we're going to see how many we can get through during today's session. These are books that I have personally read, that I have recommended or bought for my clients, or that my clients have recommended to me too. And I'm going to explain exactly why they've made a difference in my life and business. Okay, so let's start with number one. And of course, it's The One Thing, One and the One Thing by Gary Keller. So you can all see this. This is a very short and sweet book. I think I could read it in like 2 hours. And it's about focusing on one thing that you want, one goal. And it could be goals in different areas of your life, but what's the one thing you want for your business? What's the one thing you want for your family? What's the one thing you want for your health? And then narrowing it down to your daily task. So let me see if I can find that picture. There's a really great picture in here where he's talking about goal setting to the now. Here it is. Let me see if I can show this to you. Okay, goal setting to the now. So you start with your big someday goal, and then you break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down. Okay, so you start with your someday goal. What's the one thing I want to do someday? One thing, not 100 things, one thing. Then your 5-year goal. Based on my someday goal, what's the one thing I can do in the next 5 years? And then your 1-year goal. Based on my 5-year goal, what's the one thing I can do in this year? You can see this is very similar to my 12-week goal setting process, but it's instead of like doing a huge bucket list type of goal or a 1-year goal, you're taking that and breaking it down smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So you're only focusing on what you need to do right in front of you right now. So you do your 1-year goal, and then your monthly goal. Based on my 1-year goal, what's the one thing I can do this month? Then your weekly goal. Based on my monthly goal, what's the one thing I can do this week? Daily goal. Based on my weekly goal, what's the one thing I can do today? And finally, right now, based on my daily goal, what's the one thing I can do right now? I love this because if you try to do it the other way, where you're going up the ladder and you're trying to figure out, okay, what can I do today? And then what can I do this week? And then what can I do this month? It's harder to come up with that big goal. So you start with your enormous big goal, and then you break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down. Leave a comment and let me know. Have you read The One Thing? And do you like that type of goal setting, or do you find it limiting? I don't know. For me, when I read that, it resonated with me because I do smaller goal setting, but it really kind of broke me open, and it was like, okay, if I want to earn X amount of money, or if I want to, I don't know, do this thing in my life, I've really got to start breaking those action steps smaller and taking action right now. So let me give an example to you. Let's say we'll take the example from the session one. Session one was to earn $20,000 in the next 12 weeks from your business. That's a seasonal goal or a quarterly goal. So if you want to earn $20,000 this next 3 months, does that mean for the year you want to earn, I don't know, what is it? Is it $100,000 or is it 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000? So that would be 80,000. I'm trying to count in my head. 80,000. Is that what you want for the year? And if that's true, then what do you have to do like this season? What do you have to do this month? What do you have to do this week? What do you have to do today? And what is the goal for your business? When I talk to the members of my Goodbye 9 to 5 program, their ultimate goal is to be able to quit their 9 to 5 job, which we are talking about in another session too. And if you want to quit your 9 to 5 job, when do you want to quit it? Do you want to quit it a year from now or 6 months from now or when? And then what things do you need to do seasonally, monthly, weekly, so that can happen? I know I'm kind of going off on this book, but this book is really, really transformative. It's The One Thing by Gary Keller. And I want all of you to think about, like, what is that one thing you really, really want? And how can you make it more manageable every single day? So you're inching forward every single day, instead of like getting to the end of the year and being like, oh, I didn't meet my yearly goals. Well, of course you didn't, because you weren't doing things every month or every week or every day. All right, so that is book number 1, is The One Thing. Okay, moving on. Next book is Someday is Not a Day in the Week. This is a book I have recommended to my mastermind group many times. I know some of you watching have read this book. Teach me how to annotate a book. I don't have a really good way of annotating a book. My one of my clients, Linda, is a writer and she has amazing annotation skills. So I should have Linda, if you're watching, give us your advice. But basically, when I'm reading something that I like, I put a little tag on the page, and you might think, oh, what do the different colors mean? It was just the tag color that I grabbed in the moment. But I know some people who actually have categories of things, and they categorize by color as they're annotating. I should probably learn to annotate, but really it's a little loosey-goosey for me, which probably wouldn't think because I'm a former book editor, but it is. Anyway, second book is Someday is Not a Day in the Week by Sam Horn. And this is a very popular book and one that I've recommended a million times. Because again, it's very similar to The One Thing. It gets you thinking about, love it, not too specific. Yeah, not too specific. It's just something that I want to read again, or I know I want to jump to, I just mark it. Or if it's something I need to teach my clients, or something that would make a really good blog post or a video idea, I mark it. I mean, that's a way that you could do it. Like if you want to mark things that you want to remember as blue and things that would make a good video as pink or something like that, you could do that. I like this book because, again, just like The One Thing, it starts you thinking about, what do you really want out of life? And there's some kind of sad stories in it about people who like saved for retirement to enjoy it later in their life in their 50s and 60s and never made it because they died. So you got to think about, like, if you really want something, how can you start having parts of that now? How can you start working for that now instead of saving all of the good things in your life until you're old and you might not be able to enjoy them by that time? There's a great little matrix in here. I think you can see that. So it's it's kind of like the Eisenhower matrix, but this one is doing, not doing, want to do, or don't want to do. So you organize. They call it a 4-minute, 4-box happiness quiz. So you write, what are you doing in your life that you want to do? What are you not doing in your life that you do want to do? What are you doing in your life that you don't want to do? And what are you not doing in your life that you don't want to do? Basically. So it gets you to pinpoint the things that you're doing that you don't want to do and how to get rid of those, and the things that you want in your life, but you're not doing those, and how to start incorporating those actions into your day. I think if you're looking for motivation, if you're looking to be like, if you're a type of person who has lots of dreams and goals in your head, but you're not taking action, this is a great book because it gets you to stop thinking about someday and really put those things on your calendar and say, I'm not going to wait until things are perfect. I'm not going to wait until whatever. Like, start doing those things little by little and get really clear on what's missing in your life. Let me see. There's any other little things. Oh, okay. When someone is raining on your parade, sometimes people try to destroy you precisely because they recognize your power, not because they don't see it, but because they see it and they don't want it to exist. That kind of stuck with me because I think if you're a business owner and you're putting yourself out there, there are going to be people who don't want to see you succeed. And it might really surprise you who those people are who don't want to see you succeed. It might be the people who are closest to you. And that's really sad, that they just want to diminish your power because they don't have the energy or the motivation or the drive to do it themselves. It's they call it the crab bucket. You know what I'm talking about? So if you put a whole bunch of crabs into a bucket, some of them will start trying to claw their way out of the bucket, but the crabs below them will grab them and drag them back down rather than letting the crabs at the top escape. They're like, if I can't escape, you can't escape. If I can't do it, you can't do it. So that's kind of how things can be in business or when you start putting yourself out there. And I've mentioned many times in my videos on YouTube that, like, there have been times when I get a lot of hate comments or I get emails and messages from people saying that I suck and everything that I do is terrible and I'm an awful coach. And it can hurt. Like, but I just remind myself that they're just trying to dim my shine because they couldn't do it themselves. And here's a fact that I heard from Mel Robbins, who is an awesome coach and motivational speaker. Mel Robbins says that you will never be criticized by someone doing more than you. Think about that. You will never be criticized by someone doing more than you. It's true, because someone who is doing more than you, let's say whoever the top person is in your field, they don't care about you, that they're not going to waste their time like making you feel bad. Like think about me. I guess I'm objectively successful, but I don't spend my time writing hate comments to people who are just starting out like, whoa, 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 look at them. Let me tear them down. No, because I'm busy doing my own thing. I'm doing the things that they can't and won't do. So you'll never be criticized by someone doing more than you. Those hate comments you might get on social media are from people who aren't succeeding, who aren't living their best lives, who are feeling crappy about where they're at in their total situation. So just remind yourself that you would never take advice from those people. So don't let their criticisms hurt you or affect you, because they don't matter. They didn't do the work, you did. Then they're only doing that because you're shining. All right, so book number 2, Someday is Not a Day in the Week. Again, let me know if you've read any of these books. I know some of you have. And let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, or if you have book recommendations, leave them in the comments. That is also how you enter the giveaway for the Life Editor Clubhouse Archives, which is the giveaway for this session. Moving on, let's talk about creativity. We've got Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Many of you will recognize that Elizabeth Gilbert wrote the insanely popular Eat, Pray, Love memoir. And this is more of a self-help inspiration book. It's Creative Living Beyond Fear, a must-read for anyone hoping to live a creative life. This is awesome. If you're ever feeling like, I don't know, I can't put my ideas out there, or my ideas aren't good enough, this book will help you get out of your shell and start taking action. So let me find a good, all right, here's a good quote. Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you? A lot of my clients think about starting a business, but then they don't, and they drag their feet or they half-ass it. And by the time they finally get their business going, it might be a year or 2 years after they first thought about having a business. And then they realize, like, oh, this isn't so hard. This isn't as scary as I thought. I can always ask people for advice or join a mastermind group and get help. But a lot of us put a lot of our goals on hold because we're scared, or because we're like, I don't know if I can do that. And this book really helped me be a bit braver and put some videos and content out there that I might have delayed because I was embarrassed or something in the past. Um, Here's another great quote. Your art not only doesn't have to be original, in other words, it also doesn't have to be important. Is that hard? Is that hard to think about that? Like, you think, oh, everything I put out has to be original. It has to be perfect. It has to be beautiful. It doesn't. Literally everything that I put out into the world has been done by other people before. Like, I'm talking about books you should read. There's lots of people talking about books you should read. I talk about productivity. There's a million productivity programs. I talk about business marketing. There's a million videos you can watch about business marketing. So it kind of takes the pressure off of you that you don't have to be original. You don't have to say like, oh, my work is going to change the world, but you can just put it out there. So I love Big Magic. And one last thing I want to talk about from Big Magic, please excuse my language, but you have to ask yourself, what's your favorite flavor of shit sandwich? What's your favorite flavor of shit sandwich? What in the world does that mean? Well, it's kind of like the Buddhist idea of choose your suffering. No matter what you are doing, you're going to have to suffer. So you can choose your shit sandwich. You can choose where you want to suffer. So if you don't create your business, you'll suffer by having regrets or feeling like you never lived up to your potential, or watching other people succeed and feeling jealous. If you do start your own business, you're going to have to deal with the haters. You're going to have to deal with launching things that nobody buys. You're going to have to deal with learning new technology that might be difficult. You might have to, I don't know, get a thicker skin, and you might have to spend money where you didn't want to spend money or whatever it is. So you've got to choose your suffering, choose your shit sandwich. And I got to say from my own experience, and of course, I know Elizabeth Gilbert would agree, that I always would rather choose the suffering that has me living the bigger life. So I will start my business. I will launch my program. I will have in-person retreats. I will do whatever it is because I will at least want to try for that thing. So I want you to leave a comment and let me know, what's your shit sandwich? Like, if you've got a choice in front of you where you can either stay in your comfort zone, stay small and suffer that way, or you have something that you're thinking of doing, something big, whether it's starting a business or really getting serious about your health, or whether that's getting a divorce or going after a different type of career or whatever it might be. Like, are you willing to take all of the pain and suffering that comes along with that, along with the good? So leave a comment and let me know. Remember, leaving a comment is how you enter the giveaway for this session too. Okay, next book is Four Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin, another book that I have recommended a million times before. This book will help you understand other people and yourself. How many of you have read the Four Tendencies? It's like wildly popular. Colleen says, I'm moving towards the same as you. I will eat the one that leads me to a bigger life. Yes, yes, eat that shit sandwich. Eat it. So, you got it. You got to choose your suffering. And I always want to choose something that's going to help me grow and be the best me. So the Four Tendencies is all about how you respond to expectations. So there are four different types, and it's about outer expectations, like from society and the world and your family and your boss. And then there's inner expectations from you, things that you want to do. And this actually brings me to a letter with Colleen. I think this is your letter, or this question that you sent in. It doesn't have a last name, but I'm assuming it's you, Colleen, because it's from Colleen. Let's see. This is a question about perfectionism, and it actually goes along with the Four Tendencies. So let me read that question and we'll get right into it. So Colleen says, I'm suffering from perfectionist paralysis. Raise your hand if that's you too. Perfectionist paralysis. I am absorbing all this information and I'm so excited, but since I have no experience, I figure it's going to stink and no one will be interested. That is so common for all of my clients. Yes, Colleen, that's yours. Yes. Awesome. Okay. So perfectionist paralysis, where you want things to be perfect, but instead of like putting stuff out there, you freeze up and be like, it's not perfect. I can't do it perfect. I just won't do anything at all. This happens to a lot of clients too. And specifically, it relates to this book and upholders. Now, I'm not going to go over all of the 4 tendencies. I recommend you read it for yourself. But upholders are people who they respond to inner expectations and they respond to outer expectations. So they'll do a goal or take action because they want to. It's something they want to do, and they'll do it because other people want them to do it. The world wants them to do it. Their spouse wants them to do it. These are the classic teacher's pet. And it should come as no surprise to any of you that I'm an upholder. It's absolutely teacher's pet. And I do things because I want to do them, and I do things because the world or society wants me to do them too. But if you're an upholder, you might think, well, great, you're reaching your goals all the time. But the problem with that is there's something that Gretchen Rubin describes as tightening, which is that perfectionist paralysis, is that you keep doing more and more and more, and you can't let yourself down. You can't let other people down. And it's so much that you can burn out. You can start to freeze and tighten, as she says, like, I can't do anything unless it's perfect. And it becomes too much. So, Colleen, as you're talking about perfectionist paralysis, I have some advice. And again, these are some more truth bombs about you wanting to put your work out there. And Colleen, if you can let me know, what work do you do? Is this for your business? Is this for your career? What field is this? Is this coaching? Is this something else that would help me figure out a little bit more which direction I can give you advice from? But whatever it is you do, and for anyone else who's got this perfectionist paralysis, whatever your field is, the truth is, and I say this with love, the truth is you do suck. You do. You absolutely suck. Your work sucks, your business sucks, and it will continue to suck forever. That is the truth bomb I'm telling you, because right now I've been doing it for 13 years. I've been running my own business for 13 years, and I absolutely suck. I still suck. I've learned a lot, but never ever got close to perfectionism. And you will never get close to perfectionism too. It's too far out there. There's no way for you to be perfect. So Colleen says, I don't work. I want to start a business at home, but I think it has to do with more passive because I have health issues. Yes. Okay. So you're starting a business. Got it. When you start your business, you are going to suck. Believe me, I sucked for a long time. I've mentioned this before. When I first started my business 13 years ago, for the first year or two, it was very vague. It was like, I'll help you live your dreams. Yay. And I didn't know how to edit videos. So my videos were just one extremely long take with me staring at the camera like a deer in the headlights. So if you go to my YouTube channel and scroll back, you can watch some of my old videos, and they're laughably bad. But I kept them up because you're going to suck. And you're going to to put stuff out there that's crappy. Like, honestly, I continue to put stuff out there that's crappy. I've sent emails where I've had tons of misspellings in them. I've sent emails where I forgot to put the links into whatever it was I was promoting. I have like gone live and completely forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, there's just going to be like lots of times with you sucking in your business. So if you're never going to be perfect, if you're always going to suck, if you're always going to be learning and you'll never actually reach that level of perfection, well, you might as well do your work anyway. So I've got 2 ways that you can get comfortable with sucking. This issue. I want you to get comfortable with being a hot mess, because that's the only way to reach whatever it is. Like, if, let's say you're trying to, I don't know, get healthy and be able to run faster. Like, you've got to be a terrible runner and be out of breath after like 2 minutes. If you want to be a better runner, if you want to start saving money, you've got to kind of suck and save $5 a week or $1 a week until you get better and you can start saving more. So for your business, I want you to, number 1, start doing small things to build up your confidence. So how can you get more confident and still put your good information out there, whatever your field is? Hot messes, hot mess express. Let's all unite. So do things that you can do like in little bursts. So maybe you focus on short form videos, short little 60-second videos, instead of super long videos or like hour-long videos. A lot of my clients, when they're just getting started with like videos, they do live streams. Why? Because you don't have to edit them. You can just turn it on and start talking. And if you just pretend like you're talking to your best friend, it might make things a little easier. But it takes the scariness of having to edit it away. You might do shorter emails. Do an email that only talks about one thing, one nugget of wisdom, one shining idea. Do short little blog posts where you give them one tip rather than 10 tips. Like I remember editing some blog posts for my clients a while back, and it was like this enormous listicle of 20 different things that you can do, 20 ways to do this thing. I'm like, holy moly, this could be a series. You could break this up into like 20 different blog posts or break them up into 4 different blog posts or whatever. But you don't need to fire hose people with all the information that you have. And I think us perfectionists kind of feel that like if you turn on a fire hose and it's just like, it's all coming at you. We don't want to do that to our followers or else we're going to burn out, and they're going to burn out too, just from like engaging in that much information. So number one is do small things to build up your confidence. Small little blog posts, small little emails, small little videos. And the second thing is to give some stuff away for free. Specifically, if you are in any kind of teacher or coach, like if you have a thing and you're teaching people how to do it, give away free calls. That free calls alone transformed my business. So back in the day, when I was 2 years into my business and I was rebranding as the life editor, I admitted that I was an absolute beginner. So be truthful with your followers and tell them you're an absolute beginner and you really, really need their help. So what I did, I said, I'm coming up with this 5-step life editing process, combining my book editing past with my life editing current career. And I want to test my life editing process on you. Will you do a free call with me where I can test my process and you can tell me what works, what doesn't work, and whatever. So I did that month, I did about 22 free calls with people, just going through the 5 steps of my life editing process with them, which I'm doing today during our retreat. And it was transformative. It helped me get comfortable being on camera. It got me comfortable talking about my process. It got me comfortable helping them find solutions. And many of those people ended up paying for coaching packages after doing my free call. So I think if you've got this perfectionist paralysis, give yourself permission to suck. Do something teeny tiny to get your confidence up, and then give away something for free while admitting you're a beginner. You can tell people like, hey, I'm a beginner. Sign up for my freebie and let me know what you think. Hey, I'm a beginner. Do a free call with me so I can get practice. Or, hey, I'm a beginner. Can I pick your brain and get some advice? And that really, really transformed my business. You can also get testimonials from free stuff. Like you don't have to get testimonials from only people who paid. People who do free stuff with you, do a free call or enjoy your freebie or like your blog posts, which are free, or like your videos that are free. You can still get a great testimonial from them. And those testimonials can go on your website, can go on your social media, can go on your emails, and all of that helps lift you up. So yeah, my business turned around really fast when I started giving stuff away for free, especially when I did those free calls to test my coaching framework. Okay, so Colleen, I hope that answered your question about how to get over your perfectionist paralysis. And that absolutely goes along with the 4 Tendencies book, which I highly recommend. Okay, I have so many more books on my desk. We're going to try to get through as many as we can. Okay, next book, oldie but goodie. Oh, Colleen, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Colleen. I'm glad you appreciate it. Colleen, or anyone watching, if you want more help with your business and getting it off the ground and getting yourself set up for success, then go ahead and click the link in the description for my Goodbye 9 to 5 mastermind group. As I mentioned, this is the kickoff launch party. Doors are now open. And because it's the 1-year anniversary, we've got new pricing, new levels, and we've got our retreat coming up in August, which I would love to see you there. All right, moving on. Oldie but goodie, it's The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Some of you will remember this book from my very popular video on YouTube where I followed the advice of old white men for 2 weeks. So I got all these books by old white men that are like, the popular like productivity, self-development books or the popular business books. And they're all old white men. And I was like, why are all these old white men telling me how to live my life? So I followed the advice, and the video is still up on YouTube. You can watch it. And it's all about what works and what doesn't. And should you actually listen to these old white men? And I will say some of them, yes, some of them do have good advice. And The Big Leap has some really transformative advice that helped me. So one of the points in this book is the upper limit problem. Let's see. Yeah. How many of you are familiar with the upper limit problem? You might have even heard it if you haven't read The Big Leap. So basically, you have different levels of what your ego and your mindset will allow you to accept. So you've got this comfort zone right here, and that's where you're at right now. That's your comfort zone. But let's say you want to get up here to the next level. You have to break through the upper limit of what you think is possible for yourself before you can get to that next level. So as you're making changes, as you're becoming the best version of yourself, as you're trying to grow, you're going to be faced with a lot of setbacks. Like, this is your ego trying to squash you down and say, no, stay in your comfort zone. So maybe your laptop falls in the bathtub, or your car breaks down, or your client quits, or whatever, or some other calamity happens. And what you can do when you're experiencing this upper limit problem, and it feels like everything that could go wrong is going wrong, is if you really want what it is, and you want to get to that next level of success, you've got to keep doing your good work, keep putting videos out there, keep sending your emails, keep doing your marketing, and you'll eventually get to that next level of success. You'll break through that upper limit. But if you're not supposed to go to that next level of success, something will absolutely stop you. Like, you will not be able to go any further. Like, I don't even know. But that is very, very rare. And I would say 9 times out of 10, when you're experiencing setbacks, it's because the universe or your mindset or your ego is asking you, do you really want it? Do you really want to take that big leap? And if you want it bad enough, you've got to keep doing your work even when it gets hard. You got to eat that shit sandwich, as they say. So I want to hear from you if any of you have experienced an upper limit problem, and were you able to break through that, get out of your comfort zone, and move on to the next level of success? This book will teach you how to do that. So again, it is one of those old white men books that I do recommend. All right, let's get to another successful women writers. We've got Juliet's School of Possibilities by Laura Vanderkam. I love all of Laura Vanderkam's books. She is a time management expert. And this is a parable. So it's a story, it's a short story that teaches a lesson. So sometimes when you're reading like a self-development book or a productivity book or a business book, it can get a little boring. It can get a little lecture-y, like you're sitting in class listening to someone drone on, like, and then you do this thing, and then you do that thing, and then you do this. Sometimes we need to shake it up a little bit. And by hearing a story that illustrates a point, a parable, which is what Juliet's School of Possibilities is, it can help us better comprehend the information. We can be like, oh, I get it now. I see how she's doing it, and that's how I can do it. It makes sense. So this is a cute little book for anyone who feels burned out, totally burned out, has too much to do, doesn't know if what they're working on is really important or not. You need to like prioritize your life. Or if you need to make a big pivot. I know we talked about in the last session about revamping your business from Marie France's question that she said about pivoting and totally revamping. This is a great book if you want to completely pivot where you think you're supposed to be going in your life and try something completely different. Also, it helps you reevaluate your version of success. And that doesn't mean choosing like a lesser version of success and being content with that. It might mean that the version of success that you're following is what other people or society has dropped on you, but maybe there's something different and better for you. So highly recommend Juliet's School of Possibilities. I love this book, and this book does not get enough love. Like, I never see it on lists of like best motivational books. And I'm like, this is such a shame because I recommend it all the time. So I'm recommending it here. Okay. Let's see. We've got time for a few more. Which ones am I going to do? All right. We're going to do another another woman writer, Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Again, another book I've recommended and talked about in videos on my YouTube channel. So a lot of times we are presented with opportunities in our life, and it might be like to take a job, to go on an adventure, to move across the country, or like simple things to like go on a date, or do a speaking event, or whatever it might be, or to wear something that you normally wouldn't wear. And our default setting for many people seems to be to say no. No, I don't want to do that adventure, or that seems a little risky. Let me say no. So Shonda Rhimes was pointed out by her sister that she says no to everything, and she's not living a full life by saying no to things, like speaking events or dates or taking care of her health or whatever it might be. So she spent an entire year, whenever she was presented with an opportunity, and it was an opportunity for her greater good, not something that would hurt her, but an opportunity for her greater good, she decided to say yes to it. And this book is all about the wonderful ways that her life was transformed. And I think it's beautiful, even if you don't watch Shonda Rhimes shows. And I never watched her shows before I read her book. After reading her book a few years later, then I started watching Bridgerton, which is like my favorite show ever. But you can absolutely appreciate her writing style, even if you don't watch her shows. Like just the idea of saying yes to your life, saying yes to opportunities, living the bigger life. So I definitely recommend Year of Yes. And you can even Google search. A lot of people have done their own Year of Yes challenges. And I don't know, maybe you don't do it a whole year. Maybe you just do it for the next 12 weeks. We are working on your 12-week goals now. Or maybe you do it for the next 90 days, or you do it for the next month or whatever, or the next week, and just see what it feels like to say yes to opportunities, to stretching yourself, to getting out of your comfort zone, to doing something bigger. So highly recommend Year of Yes. Okay, I've got time for one more book, and then we got to wrap up this session. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna have to do, yes, I'm gonna do another old white men book because they still have good ideas. We're gonna talk about The War of Art, another book you can read in about an hour or two. So no excuses, you can get a lot of out of the book, even if you don't have a lot of time. The War of Art is again talking about how if you choose to work on your art or your business or your career or your family, or whatever it is that you're working on, you're going to have to struggle. It's a war. You struggle against something called resistance. And this book helped me battle through my resistance to start a business. Like I probably wouldn't have started a business without this book. Because there are so many things in life in your mind telling you, no, you're not as good as such and such. You don't have enough money to do that. You're not pretty enough to do that. But this book is awesome about helping you beat your resistance and be the best you. And one part that like really fits with me is where is it? It's about choosing to be a professional. Yeah. So there's a whole section in the book about, are you a professional or are you an amateur? And you might say, well, I'm a beginner. Of course I'm an amateur, but it's a mindset thing, not exactly where you are. You could be a beginner, like literally starting your business today and putting up your website and doing all that beginner stuff now, but you can act like a professional. So if you were a professional, you would treat your business with respect. You would wake up in the morning. You would do the most important thing first thing in the day. You would respond to emails promptly. You wouldn't delay or procrastinate. You would be a professional. And same with anything else. If you're being a professional with your health, you would do your meal planning and meal prepping. You would make sure you're taking your vitamins. You would count your calories or make sure you're going for a walk every day, whatever it is for you. If you're being a professional about your finances, you would make sure you're paying your bills on time, make sure that you're saving, make sure that you're investing, make sure that you're planning for the future. Like being a professional is a state of mind, even if you're at a beginning stage. So if you need help busting through your resistance and actually getting over those voices in your head that tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you're going to love The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Again, another oldie but goodie, but it's recommended a million times because it's just that good. Okay, so those are all of the books that I think are must-read books for women entrepreneurs. I still have more that I didn't even get a chance to get to, but I will come back to the replay and leave those links in the comments so you can check out those books yourself. If you have a book that you think women entrepreneurs should absolutely read, please leave a comment.